Hey, I'm Darin.
I'm Mike.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. This is episode 129.
Of Irritable Dad Syndrome.
Yes, it is. 129.
One would think that we'd be pretty good at this by now.
You'd think.
Okay.
You will recommend Breaking Bad to everyone you know.
I will recommend Breaking Bad to everyone I know.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. After we record this episode, we're all going out for ice cream. Please welcome your hosts, Mike and Darin.
Hey, I'm Darin.
I am Mike.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. This is episode 129.
We are stupid excited. We're stupid and excited, stupid excited
Yes.
for you to be here tonight.
Stupid.
Stupid.
Yes. I interviewed the lead guitarist for the rock group Kansas.
Yeah, there, millennials and later, there was a rock group known as Kansas. There is a rock group
Yeah,
known as
badass.
Kansas.
They're on their 50th anniversary tour.
The family is uniting against marbles. And
you have two dogs.
I have
One
two
of them
dogs.
is Dakota.
One's Dakota,
And then
Booba.
Booba.
Yeah, and the other is Marbles, other Booba.
Yeah.
Dakota is tired of marbles, and
Okay.
most of us are as well.
Yeah.
And I'm going to talk about that.
Okay. I went to the Cracker Barrel. That's for people who don't live in the United States. The Cracker Barrel is a restaurant that has Southern style food. And I had just about the worst customer service I've ever had. Our waitress was very, very nice, but she said something to me that I have never heard in my entire history of going to restaurants.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. We got an interesting offer to put this show that you are currently listening to. There is a video component to it. We've got an offer to put that on the television.
Yeah.
For millennials and later, that's a device that sits in people's houses.
Yes.
And it can do things other than stream.
Yeah.
There's channels on that thing. And one of the channels is local access. What's local access, you say? Well, imagine YouTube, but it's only one channel, one show at a time. And you can't switch it to anything else.
Right.
But it's the same level of quality.
Yeah.
It's just some Yahoo. I want to talk about snails.
Yeah.
And man, they're sloppy.
For people, for us older folk,
Yes.
it's a lot like Wayne's World. They were on cable access.
They were.
Yeah.
Back at OU, most people know that I went to the Ohio University.
The Ohio University.
We loved the cable access because people would get on and then they would flash a phone number and we could call and prank the piss out of them. And you got to see them react live.
Note to self, do not put phone number on.
Yeah.
And then tonight, we're not going to talk about pooping. So I'm going to tease something that we're not talking about. We are not going to talk about pooping. All right. Before we get into all that fun stuff, we mentioned TV.
Yeah.
Today is February the
7th.
7th.
Yes.
By the time this airs, we will have already missed the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have missed giving your significant other a Valentine's gift.
Hey, what happened?
So hopefully you listen to this show in the morning.
Yes.
And you can go somewhere and get something.
Anywhere.
Go to the UDF gas station. Get yourself some smokes.
Buy your special somebody a pack of Marlboro Lights. Yeah.
Well, they have those Reese's cups that are shaped like hearts.
Yes.
Right there by the register, right under the 5-hour energy drink.
Yes.
Next to the eucalyptus vape juice.
Yeah.
Koala bears are jacked up on that.
Honestly, yeah. But seriously, on Valentine's Day, get your significant somebody anything. Even if you go get them a half gallon of Chunky Monkey ice cream.
Get them a T-shirt that says "I heart" and then an arrow pointing to the side.
That's a very good idea.
And then walk next to them on that side.
Yeah. What I was trying to say was we've people are listening to this we've passed the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But they leaked in advance. There was a Super Bowl ad starring Walter White, Jesse Pinkman, and Tuco Salamanca.
That's so awesome.
For Popcorners chips. And it's the coolest damn thing I've ever seen.
Yo, these are the bomb.
And they're air popped, not fried.
Popcorners.
You'd think it'd be for Funyuns.
You're right. Yeah, because Jesse Pinkman loved those.
Actually, Jesse, it's just basic ingredients.
So, yeah, I feel like I saw this ad on the TikTok, but it was some TikTok dude that put his own voice in there.
Yeah.
And so I thought, well, this must be some outtake or something from Breaking Bad.
Right.
And I was like, they should do something with this because it pans over and you see Tuco looking.
Type! Yeah! How much of this stuff do you have? We've got 6 signature flavors, Joe.
7! You make 7!
7.
7 works.
The ad is Jesse Pinkman and Walter White. They're in their van, and Jesse's talking about these chips, and then Walter White decides that they're going to sell them. Remember when the Super Bowl ads came out during the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Used to be you had to wait until the Super Bowl, and it gave people a reason to watch one reason besides football to watch the game.
It gave guys like me a reason to watch the Super Bowl because
Right.
I didn't care about the game.
And now it seems like all the Super Bowl commercials are available before the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I would have been like, because I plan on watching the Super Bowl, but I would have been tickled pink to see Walter White in there.
We call them popcorners.
Say their name.
Have
But
you ever?
I don't remember how many years ago it was, but I knew that Matthew Broderick was going to be Ferris Bueller again in a Super Bowl ad. I knew that the dude, the Big Lebowski, was going to be in a Super Bowl ad.
Yeah.
He and Sarah Jessica Parker did one. It was a stupid commercial. It was horrible.
Yeah.
But they have started putting these commercials out before the game, and I don't understand why they're doing that.
I like that, and I'll tell you
I'm
why.
not saying I like or dislike it. I don't understand it.
So I once was at a Super Bowl party, and this person is not currently incarcerated because of this, but they should be. Mm-hmm. I was at their house at a Super Bowl party. They were playing the Super Bowl. That's one of the things that you do at a Super Bowl party.
Yeah, you watch the
And
game.
when the commercials would come on, they would mute the TV and
What?
start talking about what had happened in the previous few minutes
Shut
on the game, or start asking, "So, did you hear about the the weather balloon floating over Kansas that just got shot down?" You're like, "What the actual hell are you doing right now, dude? Are you serious right now?"
Yeah.
There is the most hilarious commercial on right now.
Yeah.
And you're talking about weather balloons and what Brett Favre did with his pass or whatever the hell.
Exactly.
Yeah. And for cases like that, I would like to see the commercials unadulterated.
Exactly.
You
No, you're exactly right. Because,
Yeah.
funny story. So, not last Super Bowl, but the Super Bowl before, the commercials weren't very good. And we were at a Super Bowl party. We had the kids with us, and people started complaining about these commercials suck. And Jacob stands up and goes, "Yeah, my dad makes better commercials than these." Thing is, everybody started laughing, thinking that my commercials are so bad they're even worse. He goes, "I'm serious. He makes good commercials." I'm surprised they've never got Steve Martin to do a commercial for Hertz rental car.
Then you can give me a f***ing automobile, a f***ing Datsun, a f***ing Toyota, a f***ing Mustang, a f***ing Buick, 4 f***ing wheels and a seat.
I need to copyright that idea.
Oh, yeah.
He is in a commercial with Ben Stiller
Okay.
during the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Because they've already leaked that as well. So, but yeah, let us know what you thought about the Breaking Bad commercial, and we'll talk about it more next week.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Dave Lay, and I regret to inform you that due to the extreme lack of interest, Arts and Crafts with Dave has been canceled. It's safe to say it was our least popular segment ever, even less popular than when I brought out my ventriloquist dummy, Peppy. Wow, that must have really sucked. That's right, Peppy, it was a giant mistake. Anyway, back to the drawing board and back to the show, brought to you this week by Uncle Chappie's Soothing Miracle Lip Balm.
I can't remember names.
I can't either.
Like, I can't. No, you know people. You've introduced me to people.
Yes.
And you typically remember people's names when you do that.
Not as much as I used to.
So how do you introduce someone if you don't know their name?
I don't.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Funny story. We went to a Lakota West football game.
Yeah.
Okay. And since Mom moved up here, Mom has started going to all the games with us. Right. And then, oftentimes I will see parents of my son's friends
Yeah.
come and will walk in like, "Hey, how's it going?" Whatever.
No idea.
I know them,
Yeah.
but I cannot remember their name. And I told Mom, I said, "Listen, if somebody ever walks up, if I don't introduce you, I have either forgotten their name or your name. Or both." And I tell everybody that if I'm not trying to be rude, So if you and I are out
Yeah.
and somebody comes up and starts talking to me, just literally says, "Hey, I'm Mike. I'm a buddy of Darin. We host a podcast together." Oh, hey, Mike, and then
Yeah.
whatever. And I apologize, but the older I get, I'm starting to forget people's names.
Yeah, I've done it forever.
Yeah.
Even young, and Bess will get annoyed with me. Does Libby get annoyed with you when you forget names?
No.
See, Bess will remind me of names that I know. Like, this guy's coming over tonight to do the podcast. Darin, you know Darin? Yeah, I know Darin. I get him. But then she'll start saying, "You know what Jebediah did the other day? I don't know who Jebediah is."
Yeah.
Or Lucius. What did they do? I don't know who these people are.
Yeah.
These aren't real names. I'm protecting.
Those aren't real names.
I'm protecting the innocent by not giving the real names. Or Zarquan. Did you ever see what Zarquan did the other day?
That's a girl's name, so he must have got a lot of in school.
Yeah. But
yo, Zarquan.
So I've been in situations, oddly enough, I've been in a number of business situations where I have to introduce people, and I developed a technique because I had this issue.
Okay.
And I literally would forget everyone's name, and I would have to introduce this person to this person. I could remember titles and positions.
Yeah.
So I would stall for time, and generally people kind of clue in. You have no idea what name is, and they'll throw it in there.
Yeah.
So you say, "Darin, I'd like you to meet our head of
development,
Mr. It's Mrs. Okay." I'm sorry, ma'am.
It was the mustache. The mustache threw you off.
The mustache,
Yeah.
and the bonnet. It completely threw me off. Why don't you tell this gentleman what you've been doing? Well, first of all, my name is Arquana, and they go through the whole. Okay,
Yeah.
And then I make a mental note, and I tie it to that embarrassment that happened, and then now I know their name. I will never forget Zarquana's name. I'll think bonnet. And that's a lady.
Zarquanet.
Yeah,
Zarquanet.
Yeah. But if I don't have something like that, when I meet someone, if you introduce me to someone, any of you out there, if you meet me, if you want to embarrass the piss out of me, within 30 seconds of meeting me, ask me to tell you what your name is. I don't know what your name is.
Yeah.
I do not know what your name is.
Well, at my last comedy show that you went to, there was that dude from Scouts came in.
I don't know who that is.
I couldn't have told you his first name to save my life.
He is, to me, he's the guy in Scouts that looks like Matt Box.
Yeah.
That's what I told Bess. So she's like, "Did you see so-and-so?" I was like, "I don't know who that is." She's like, "Well, you were talking to him." I was like, "Oh, the guy that looks like Matt Box?"
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's like, "He has a name. I don't know what his name. I think his name is Jebediah. I don't know what his name is." He's a nice guy.
Yeah, super nice guy.
He's
and I
went
over and talked to him, and then I felt horrible because he remembered my name. Oh. And then he remembered Cameron's name,
That is the worst. That's the worst when people remember your name and you don't know who the hell they are. You just feel like a piece of dog shit.
I'm sorry. I'm not good with names.
If I walk up to somebody and I meet them, it's like, "Oh, how's Booba and how's the other Booba?" And what's wrong with you? Don't come at me with all these names. Don't pretend like we know each other.
Okay, 2 stories. When Megan Mitchell, you remember Megan? She was a guest on our show.
Yeah.
When she had her going away party, I was there and I was with my friend Carrie. And a person came up to our table and started talking to us and talking and talking and talking and talking. And I'm, yeah. Must have talked for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I said, "Okay, great, fantastic."
Yeah.
Person walks off, and I looked at Carrie. I said, "I have no idea who that was. No clue who that was." And then she started laughing because it's a person that we worked with, who I used to see on a daily basis. In my defense, this person had changed hairstyle and clothing.
Have you ever been in a situation where someone you knew from like high school or something like that has passed on, and you have mutual friends and they're all like, "Oh, such and such," and you're saying, and you can't type in there, "Who is that?"
Was that the guy with the...
Yeah, because people don't always look like they...
Did she and I ever, That's not something you ask.
Yeah. I mean, I'll have friend suggestions, which gets weird. But what happens is Facebook looks at them and says, "Oh, you may know this person," which has got me all screwed up right now because I'm seeing people, I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And I'm like, do I know them? Facebook says I know them. But then I'll find out they were like your friend.
You may know them.
I may know them.
You may know them.
Yeah.
Through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I've gotten, I don't know.
In college, I was set up on a date.
Yeah.
And so this girl and I, we were going out, and we went to a movie. And I'm driving her back to her dorm, and she says, she asked if I wanted to come up to her dorm and hang out, watch some TV or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, sure.
Netflix and chill before Netflix was a thing. Yeah.
We didn't Netflix and we didn't chill.
Okay. Yeah.
So it turns out I used to think Netflix and chill was just watch a movie and relax.
That's what it is at our age.
Okay.
It's literally what it is.
I was told that chill means you're bow, wicka, wow, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, no,
That's not chilling.
That's not chilling.
No.
That's not.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, she asks if I want to come back up to her dorm and hang out. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And so at the dorm, you got to fill out the form of like what room you're going to. So it's like student's name. I can't remember her name. Mike, I'm on a date with this girl, and I have blanked. I have zoned out. I cannot remember her name, and she's standing right beside me as I fill this out. And so I just sort of skipped over that.
Zarquana.
I said 132.
Yeah.
And I put the phone number and I put the thing. I'm like, God, please.
Yeah.
and it came to me, and then I put her name last. I forgot the girl's name who I was currently on a date with.
See, now what I would have done, I would have written something that was completely, I would have wrote Steve and just start laughing. And in hope
She'd be like, why did you put Steve?
When my name is Zarquana or Bacina or whatever the hell her name is. And then
it's like, what do you do? It's like, how do you spell your name? And she's like, Jill, So it's just two L's.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do?
Yeah. I think that's rude. On a first date, expecting someone to know your name. That's rude.
I know, right? Where does she
So
get over yourself?
Yeah.
Jaquana. I was at the Y one time. I had Jacob with me. He was little.
Yeah.
And we were swimming. And I'm getting ready to walk out. And a client of mine from WLWT walks in. I'm like, could not remember his name.
Yeah.
I forgot. I mean, I don't know how many times I've done videos for this guy. I should, in theory, know his name.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not there. So I was like, step back for a second, Jacob. He's like, what? We're leaving. No, we're not leaving. He was in the lobby. We went back to the locker room and waited around for a few minutes. So I could walk through the lobby and not have to embarrassingly, hey, you old son of a bitch, how you doing?
You brought up the why. Here's another one that I like. When you kind of know somebody, but you don't really talk to them that often, like you recognize them, you're at least on a head nod or a, hey, what's up?
Yeah.
You ever had the situation where you see each other and then one of you looks away because you've spent too much time just staring at them because your old brain is like, is that the thing that
with
did
the
this stuff?
Yeah.
And then as they're turning away, you're like, oh, so now you got to stare at them like a psychopath until they look again. So you can go, hey, and wave. Otherwise, it's going to be weird the next time you see each other.
Yeah.
That happens to me more than it should. Way more than it should.
Well, I told you about that time I was in Kroger and I saw that woman that I knew. And I couldn't think, where in the world do I know her from?
Yeah.
I know her. But when it's a woman and you're a guy, you can't just keep staring because that's creepy.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure it out. And then
you could go up and use like the official line that has been used since the dawn of time. Do I know you from somewhere?
Did you buy ththese grapes here?
Yeah.
Start a conversation. Maybe the tone of her voice would say,
do you want to touch my beats?
Anyway, I keep passing her. I keep thinking, and then I realize she works at Kroger.
Yeah.
We're in Kroger. That's where I know her from.
Yeah.
Where we are.
I'm going to start just waving at people I don't know to see if they wave back or act like I know someone and see what their reaction would be.
Yeah.
Like, do I know a fat bald guy with a weird face?
But and it's worse when we have kids.
Yeah.
Because these kids have parents.
Oh.
And so you've ran into these people somewhere like at a birthday party or at Scouts, maybe basketball
I didn't know your
practice.
name for months.
I know.
Bess was so pissed at me. She's like, Cameron's dad?
Yeah.
What, Bob?
Bob. Yeah.
JC. What's his name? I don't know what his dad's name is. No, it's Darin. And then in my head, it came up Darren because the only other Darin that I knew was spelled that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we were going to a band function.
Okay.
And this girl comes up and she's just like, "Oh my goodness, how are you? How's it going?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "I'm great." No
No
clue
idea.
who she is.
None.
No clue.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking if she was in band with the boys, she would be in band with the
Yeah.
boys, but she's not.
Yeah.
So I don't know why. So I don't know her from band.
Uh-huh.
And I don't think she's a friend of Jacob or Cameron's who is in band.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I don't know her through our church. She definitely doesn't work with me because she's
Yeah.
17 and I'm 50.
Yeah.
Finally, she said something and she asked if Jacob and Cameron are still going to karate lessons. I'm like, thank you for telling me who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
You think she sensed that you had no idea and she's like, I'm going to throw this guy a bone?
The drool coming out. I was like, I don't know who you are.
Something that I would like to do, I don't know that I will,
Yeah.
but I think would be fun would be to find a random person and just insist that I know them, just to the and get them to the point where they're like, oh yeah, and they're agreeing with, and then just call them out in the middle of it.
Yeah.
You know who I am. I don't even know who you are. What is it? What are you agreeing with this? What?
At my high school reunion, my 20th high school reunion, a guy walks up to me and goes, "Oh my God, dude, you look better than you did in school." It's just, do you remember when we were in English class?
Yeah.
And he was just all these stories, and I cannot place him to save my life. And he was just, oh my God, and I can't, what are you doing now? Finally, his girlfriend walks up and grabs him. She says, "Would you stop it?" I went to high school with her, not him. And he was doing this all night.
Oh, that
And
is
I was
so
just like,
awesome. That is beautiful.
yeah.
I told the story on here before, but I'll tell it briefly again. We had our 20th year reunion, a high school reunion at this bar/restaurant.
Uh-huh.
One of the waiters was in our class. He just wasn't invited to the reunion.
Oh,
And I recognized him. And I go over and just start shooting the shit with him, like, "Hey man, how you doing?" Because I like, we weren't like friends, but we hung out when we were like way little, and then we kind of grew apart. And I'm like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And he's like, "What are you doing here?" And I was like, "He's like, there's all these like, yeah, so and so's over there. So what's going on?" I was like, "It's our 20th year reunion." And he just stared at me for a second. He's like, "Are you f***ing kidding me?"
Hey, what happened?
Oh, I laughed myself silly. I called Bess over. This is so and so. He's not even invited to this.
Nobody
thing.
invited him.
Nobody invited him.
He
He's
works here.
and he's just like serving beers
How
to people.
sad is that?
Serving to the people.
Poor guy.
I saw him like for a few more minutes, and then I think he just left.
yeah, just quit.
This portion of our show is brought to you by Diff Liquid Concentrated Wallpaper Stripper. With its unique enzyme action, Diff dissolves old paste and cuts wallpaper removal time in half. Hi, I'm Dave Lay. And back in my 20s, I made a pretty good living stripping wallpaper, and I always used Diff. I remember thinking that I could use an inferior product, take twice the time, and make more money. But honesty runs deep in my blood, and I'm brand loyal. I stand by Diff until the end of time. Diff, the only one that really works. Back to you, Mike and Darin.
I got to interview the lead guitarist for Kansas.
For what?
My job is I produce promos for classic television on Antenna TV and Rewind TV.
See, Kansas is not classic television.
They have nothing to do with classic television. But in Chicago, where my company is based, whenever classic bands from the era of the 80s, 90s, 70s come through, if we can, we will go and interview them and then put the interviews with these celebrities on our social media sites. Okay? So we got a thing saying that Kansas is doing these interviews via Zoom, promoting their upcoming 50th anniversary tour.
Yeah, a lot of Zoomers and millennials don't know who Kansas are.
Kansas did Carry On My Wayward Son.
Yeah.
And they did Dust in the Wind were their two biggest, huge hits.
Yeah.
Okay. They've had, I don't know how many albums.
And they're not all the original members. Like one of them split off early on and went on to form Guar. I think they originally wrote the Master of Puppets album, but
you see, once again, you got Kansas confused with Megadeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and you just got Megadeth confused with Metallica.
With Metallica. Yeah.
And Guar.
Was Guar part of Metallica?
You can cut all this out.
Okay. Yeah.
No, Guar is a part of Warhammer and Lord of the Rings and God knows whatever else.
Warhammer's a great name for a band.
Okay.
Yeah. So my boss, who normally does these interviews, is going to be out of town. Okay. And she said, Darin, can you do this? I'm like, well, yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. What do you ask the guitarist for Kansas?
I asked him all kinds of things.
Did you ask him if it was hard to be a guitarist for Kansas?
So you're a guitarist. Is that hard? Yeah. Yeah. I talked to him about the, how cool it is that all these years later, there's still people, new fans and old fans still following him. And he said that he was, just still amazed and impressed with that. But
are they from Kansas?
Yeah, Topeka.
Okay.
They formed in Topeka, Kansas. I did ask him who named the band.
Yeah.
And I said, because, Kansas works.
Yeah.
But you can't really name a band Utah. And he said, says, there's probably a band out there with the name Utah. There probably is.
There's definitely not one called Delaware.
But in
Rhode Island.
Yeah.
We're the Rhode Island Wranglers.
Exactly. But in 1986, Kansas released a song called Can't Cry Anymore. It's my favorite Kansas song.
Okay.
And I asked him about that. I said, why is that not your biggest hit? And he explained everything to me about what went wrong. There's all kinds of people were let go from the record company, and this went sour, and this went sour, and all this happened at the same time that they recorded it. And he was telling me, he says, it's like our vocalist. It was probably his best vocals of any song that we've ever recorded.
Yeah.
The music was tight, and this was amazing, and this sounded great. And we had nobody to back it up. And that's what happened to it. And he said that just, not too long ago, the guitar or the drummer was talking to him. He says, man, that was a pretty good song, and it was just one of those that like a missed opportunity, and it just went away like dust in the wind. Yeah.
Nice.
But his name is Richard Williams.
Okay.
And could not have been a cooler guy.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't believe I'm sitting there talking to the guitarist for Kansas. And what was funny was it's 2023. We're getting ready to do the interview. His wife walks into the room and she's saying that the guys are there. They're getting ready to do whatever work they have to do to the back deck. And he's like, points to the things. I'm getting ready to do. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But he's got all these guitars hanging on his back wall of the room.
Yeah.
And I was like, how badass is that? It's like, how many guitars do you have? He goes, I don't know, 30, 40. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not know how many guitars you have?
Yeah.
Anyway, so it was super cool. And for me, a guy who, I've been working on a Mork and Mindy promo, to take a little break and interview, someone who's been playing rock music for 50 years. It was a fun little change of scenery. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We ought to go see them when they're coming in through Cincinnati.
Are they?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't a commercial hit the spot just about now?
This portion of our show is brought to you by bananas. Delicious bananas. I'm Dave Lay. Have you ever noticed that bananas never curve the other direction? Anyway, next time you go back to your local grocery store, get some Whoppers all-beef footlong hot dogs and pick up a bunch of bananas. You'll be glad you did. Back to you, Skunk and Gator.
Side note.
Okay.
You don't have to put this in.
Okay.
But
that's what she said.
Okay, now you do have to put it in.
Hello.
When they tour, The Edge has a different guitar for every song that they play.
Really?
If you pay attention, his guitar tech, dude's awesome, will hand him out a guitar whenever they're switching songs. Now, there may be like one or two where he like keeps the guitar for song to song.
Okay.
But they're all tuned. They all have the effects ready to go for each of them.
Yeah.
And there was a video that they did way back at the Octung Baby Zoo TV thing where they go underneath, under the stage, and there's just this rack of guitars, like 20 or 30 guitars all lined up. And it's like they just hand him out. And when I was watching him on the Joshua Tree tour, there was, we were right next to the stage, next to Larry when we saw him.
Yeah.
When I saw him the next time, I was on the other side of the tree
where
the guitars were.
Yeah.
And the dude, literally, Edge would walk over and a guitar would just kind of come up and he would like grab the neck and pull it. And, just like swapping guitars. I'm like, that has got to be really confusing.
Time now for the Cracker Barrel story of the week.
I want to hear about Cracker Barrel. What?
Somebody step on a duck.
Those California barking spiders.
Jesus. Are you okay?
We're We're going to be on TV
They
soon.
have medication for
yeah,
that,
they
Mike.
do. They do. That sounded like it was asking a question. It's asking, you want me to get you something?
It did sound like there was a question mark following it. Libby and I went to Columbus, Ohio last week.
Okay. That's the capital
It
of
is
Ohio.
the capital of Ohio.
It's named after Christopher Columbus.
Yes.
The person who, he didn't necessarily discover America. He just kind of...
Well, he thought he did.
He got drunk halfway across the ocean and ended up here.
Yeah.
It said he discovered it, and like all the people that were already here were like, you what?
Yeah.
And it was as Amerigo Vespucci and the Vikings had been here for hundreds of years.
Yeah.
But somehow this guy got the... I don't want to go off on a tangent.
Right.
I'm just letting people know what Columbus is all about.
Thank you, Mike.
Yes.
And this has been Mike's history lesson. So we went up to Columbus. Jacob had a band performance up there. And it started at 5:00. So Libby and I have to leave the house no later than 3 to get from here to Columbus.
Okay.
We leave about 2:40, 2:50.
Okay.
We're making really good time.
Yeah.
And the GPS takes us to where we believe is the convention center.
Okay.
We park in a garage.
Yeah.
It looks like a parking garage that could easily be affixed to a convention center.
Okay.
We get out and we're walking over to the elevator, and the elevator is locked.
Locked.
It's locked. It's got there's a key to the elevator.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I hadn't either. I'm like, well, that's weird. I'm like, hey, what happened?
Why the hell would you lock an elevator?
Yeah. So, and there was also a scan code, a thing to scan that would open the elevator door.
Oh,
I was like,
elite.
I was like, I don't think we're in the right garage. And then we saw a sign that said residents only or some like that.
Okay.
So I'm thinking we've parked in the wrong parking garage.
Yeah.
We get out, we start walking. I think we have 15 minutes before the show starts.
Okay. That's not that much time.
No, it's not. And we're in the wrong building.
You got to pee, you got to get popcorn.
Yes.
Well,
Well, we didn't get popcorn.
Okay.
So we're walking and we asked these guys where the convention center is. And they said, oh, it's over there. And they point diagonally to this giant building, but we have to go down a block and then over a block. Like, okay. So Libby and I are huffing it. This is like an episode of The Amazing Race.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We go down the street, we take a left once the red light changes, and we get into the convention center. Now we have 8 minutes.
Okay.
Before the show starts. And the inside of this convention center is like a ding-dang.
Watch the language, please.
It's like the airport.
Okay. Yeah.
My God, there's hundreds of people going every single direction, up and down every corner.
Yeah.
Oh, and it's for a band concert, right? OMEA, Ohio Musical Education Association.
This is Jacob's band concert.
Jacob's,
He's already been there, correct?
Yeah, he's there.
Okay.
Yeah, he's
All
there. Well, there's no risk of him missing the show. He's already there. We're looking for where OMEA is, the Ohio Musical Education Association.
Yeah.
We see a guy walking with a trumpet in its trumpet case.
Okay.
And I ask him, I was like, sir, are you with OMEA? No. Now, normally, if you're looking for a band performance, if you see a guy with a trumpet, I'm thinking there's a pretty good chance he knows where we're going.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Okay.
So we run a little bit more. We finally find the place, and we get in there. With 4 minutes to spare, we used the bathroom. We went in, and they started a little bit late.
Okay.
And we saw the performance. That leads us to, why did we go to the Cracker Barrel?
I was going to point out to the listeners that the original question that I asked yesterday.
Tell me about the Cracker Barrel.
Tell me about the Cracker Barrel. Yeah.
We were going to try to eat before the show.
Yeah.
And we weren't able to. We didn't have time.
Okay.
So we're leaving. And we leave the parking garage. How we made it back to the parking garage, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we walked so far. We were going to go to this other restaurant, but you had to pay to park $10 to park.
What?
Had to pay $10 to park to go to this other restaurant. And it was in a liquor store parking lot where I'm like, we're going to pay $10 for somebody to steal the car.
Okay.
So we said, screw it.
Yeah.
When we're starving, we're going to get on the interstate and we'll go to the first place that we find. And it was a Cracker Barrel.
Yeah, I would keep driving.
Yeah. Well, I've never had an unpleasant experience at a Cracker Barrel. Okay.
All right.
We get to the Cracker Barrel. We passed a Waffle House, by the way. Should have went to Waffle House because I love Waffle House.
Yeah.
Get into the Cracker Barrel.
It's like saying I turned off Breaking Bad to see what was on Crackle. It's not going to end well.
Exactly.
Oh, we're slowing down. That's a good sign. You know what's not slowing down? Breaking Bad.
The lady, the host, she
Hostess.
looks, the hostess.
Yes.
And she looks at me and goes, "Is there two of you?" I said, "Yeah." "Hang on, let me see what I got."
You're not getting good vibes.
I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
And she walks like to the furthest end of the restaurant from the host's station.
Yeah. I didn't mean to assume her gender.
No.
Yeah.
She finds a table, and instead of walking to us and saying right this way, she stood there and she waved at us, like like you're trying to bring in an airplane. She's and she gives it that look like, "Well, come on."
Yeah. I ain't got all day.
God,
I got to get back over to the barrel where the crackers are.
Exactly.
You mother need to get over here if you want to eat.
We go, we sit down.
Yeah.
The waitress takes a few minutes to get to our table.
Yeah.
And we both decided what we wanted to eat, what we wanted to drink.
Yeah. Cracker Barrel's one of those places you kind of know what you want.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I ordered the grandma's sampler.
Okay.
Yeah. And Libby ordered something different.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't want any of it. I can't remember which one. And so the lady, our waitress was very nice.
Okay.
Okay. Honest to God, Mike, I think it took 40 to 45 minutes for our food to come.
That's a long time.
A long time.
Barrel.
It's a long time for the Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Our food finally came. Now, I ordered the grandma sampler. Grandma sampler is 2 pancakes, 2 eggs, however you want them.
Okay.
Okay. Then you get a piece of country ham, bacon, and a piece of sausage.
Nice.
And then whatever your side item is, and I ordered the hash brown casserole.
As you should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds great.
My pancakes and my eggs came, and 1 piece of sausage.
That's not the grandma's
That's not the grandma's sampler.
No.
That's not how God wanted it.
Yeah. That's grandpa's mistake.
Exactly.
You have at that
This
moment.
is Uncle Walt's sampler.
Yeah.
So I told the person who brought the food wasn't our waitress. It was somebody else.
Okay, that's suspect right there.
And I said,
sus.
That's sus, as the kids say. And I told her, I said, I'm missing my ham. I'm missing my bacon. Neither of us have silverware. And I'm missing my hash brown casserole. And she goes, okay.
I'm sorry.
Not I'm sorry. But she goes, okay.
All right.
And she goes back.
So you're being handled at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she goes back.
Uh-huh.
How long does it take to bring silverware?
I could go get you silverware right now. It'll take me less than 2 minutes.
Right.
You know.
Like 10 minutes goes by. And they haven't brought our silverware.
Oh, no.
Okay. I ain't got no ham. I ain't got no bacon.
You still
ain't got no
don't
hash
have
brown casserole.
And now you have nothing to eat.
And
What
now-
they did bring you.
And now we need a refill. Okay.
Yeah.
And so our waitress pops by and she goes, have they not brought your... It's like, no, they haven't brought
Was
our
it
stuff
packed
yet.
with like tons of people?
No, it
Okay.
was not packed.
All right.
By
Yeah.
any stretch of the imagination was it not packed.
Okay.
So our waitress is like, I'm really sorry. She says, it's just crazy back in the kitchen. We're short-staffed and it's crazy back in the kitchen.
Okay.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
The lady sitting next to us overhears.
Yeah.
And she looks at me and Libby, she goes, we have some spoons here to stir our tea. Do you want our spoons? Like, no, we're fine. I started eating my pancake with my hands.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our waitress comes back and she goes, listen,
We're out of silverware.
No, they did bring our silverware.
Yeah.
But the waitress comes over. She goes, I don't know what's going on back there. She says, it's the worst it's ever been. And she goes, and I have asked and asked. They just won't give it to me.
There's a hostage situation in the kitchen?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly word for word what I asked Libby. Are they holding my country ham hostage?
Of the grandma sampler, I think the country ham is the one that you would hold hostage.
Yeah.
That's the one that's going to get the most questions asked.
So she says, I'm taking your meal off the bill. You're not going to pay for that.
Okay.
Yours is free. This is, and I'm sorry. She says, I don't know. As soon as she said your meal is free, sir, and I'm sorry, she walks off to handle somebody else. Then they bring me my food. They brought me my ham and my bacon.
Yeah.
And I ate it. But half the meal was free. Okay.
Yeah.
I still tipped our waitress because she was super nice.
Yeah.
It's not her fault that the
food was held hostage.
kitchen staff wouldn't give me my ham.
Yeah.
But I've never once heard somebody say, they just won't give it to me. Give me my ham. Yeah. No.
That is awesome.
I forgot to mention another disappointing thing at the Cracker Barrel was they didn't have the peg game.
I think they're legally required to have the peg game.
You go to Cracker Barrel, you either okay, what do you expect? You want to sit in one of the big rockers and play checkers outside.
Yeah.
And it's too cold to do that. Or you go in and you play with the peg game inside.
See,
they didn't have the peg game. I'm like, why do you not have the peg game?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I was bitching about that, and I mentioned it on my Facebook page. Shout out to Aaron Durbin and Jason Durbin.
Uh-huh.
They gave me a peg game.
Oh, on the phone.
The tricky triangle.
Okay.
Yeah.
They can't call it the peg.
It's an actual wooden triangle peg game. So I'm just going to carry that with me.
Okay.
So whenever I go to a restaurant, I'll have my own peg game.
I was going to say the phone has ruined the peg game. The point of the peg game in the past was to study it, learn it, to be able to solve it, and then when you go there with your kids, you impress them by being able to do it. That doesn't work anymore. It's just like, yeah, I looked it up. It's on here. There's a video of a guy.
There's a video on TikTok that shows the easy way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jason, Aaron, thank you so much for the tricky triangle.
This has been the Cracker Barrel Story of the Week.
Jason is a patron,
He
and
is.
I wanted to mention
Yeah.
that patrons, every now and then we throw out some really cool bonus stuff on our website and stuff like that. Last week, you and I did not have our together
No.
at all.
No.
There was 11 and a half minutes of outtakes.
Sometimes those are the best
11
parts. Yeah.
and a half minutes, Mike. That's almost a full episode. Okay.
So I was looking at our Patreon, and there is right now. So when we started it, we threw a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. At this moment, there's tons of shit on there.
Oh yeah,
outtakes, screw ups. One of my favorite ones. It's probably not that fun to listen to, but one of my favorite ones is a time when we were doing an episode, and for some reason, all of your audio is on one track and all of mine's on the other.
Yeah, I
so I just
that.
decided to make 2 episodes, one with just you and one with just me, and it actually doesn't sound too horrible, which in and of itself says a lot. But
so yeah, if you want to become a patron, you can get and be part of this really cool stuff that we throw out to you.
So I've been doing something lately in our shows, and that is teasing something and then just never talking about it.
We did that last week.
We did. So I want to go back to something that I never talked about, but I want to make sure that I talk about the things I teased.
Yeah.
And one of them right now is that Booba is tired of marbles.
Yeah.
And she's gotten the rest of the family on her side.
Yeah.
Right now, Marbles, the family, I need to have a talk with him.
Okay.
The family's tired of him. Here's the deal.
But he's so sweet.
He is. He loves to be hugged. He demands hugs from Bess. And when he gets a hug, he's paralyzed. Like if you pick him up, he's like, it's a paralyzed dog. You can do whatever. You can throw him across the room. We don't throw marbles across the room, but he is a sweet dog, but he escapes our yard constantly. There's a little hole, and I'm pretty sure that he made the hole in the corner of our yard, and it connects to another yard. And he's found a way to go from that yard to another yard and get out front. So we have found him in our neighbor's front porch over here. We found him in our other neighbor's backyard, that neighbor's backyard, that neighbor's backyard. He goes all over the place. And it's gotten to the point where right now, if anyone opens the back door, Charlie from anywhere in the house will start yelling, "Don't let Marbles out, don't let Marbles out," because Charlie takes it upon himself to go out there and rescue Marbles and or police Marbles.
Yeah.
Which is wonderful. Because the rest of us, I mean, it's been cold. I'm at the point where
Ain't
I told
nobody got
Bess,
time for that.
ain't nobody got time for that. I've told her it's natural selection at this point. But so Marbles has a backstory. He has an origin story before he came to us.
Yeah.
And it makes perfect sense now. Oh, another thing Marbles does is pisses everywhere in the house. He will go outside. He will stand in the yard. He'll walk around. He'll come back in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Booba is out there with him. She's peeing. She's pooping. She's doing her business.
Yeah.
They both come in, and then Marbles will piss right there on the kitchen floor.
Yeah.
And walk around. So there's a ring of piss that goes all the way around the island, down the hallway. Then he walks through it. He does that all the time. And when I say all the time, I mean just about every day.
Yeah.
Someone is cleaning up Marbles' piss from somewhere.
Yeah.
It's driving us nuts.
Yeah.
So what we've added onto that is if you're opening the door to have them go out, someone has to go out with Marbles on the leash and make him pee in the yard. He also...
Do you remember when I asked, are you sure you want another dog? Because I did ask you that.
I think... I think that someone used to be mean to Marbles because he is a rescuer. He's like he's a used dog.
Yeah.
He was a previously owned dog.
He's a used dog.
He's like a dog you get from Half Price Books.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I've noticed that if I reach down to pet him,
Yeah.
he'll start peeing.
Yeah.
And he's so cute. You want to pet him. So I've gotten to the point where I have to ignore him now. And I don't, I get down in Booba's face. Booba's licking the bald head and I'm tickling her tummy. And he gets jealous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, when I come in from work, he's all excited. He won't pee then. It's just randomly. When you leave, I'll come down here to grind my camos for a bit. I'll go back upstairs to get a drink or something. And if I see Marbles in the kitchen, if I reach down to pet him, I'm cleaning up pee.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
So this has all led together. I interrupted myself on Marbles' origin story. His origin story is that he was found as a stray.
Yeah.
Wandering around. And what everyone said, what the vet said was, we can't imagine why he would be a stray. He's so lovable.
Yeah.
He loves people. He's attached to Bess.
Yeah.
He demands hugs from Bess.
Yeah.
He will not go, if she gets up to go do something, he is right behind her. He's with her all the time. But he's constantly escaping. And then he doesn't seem to remember where he's supposed to be. So I told Bess, I was like, I think I figured it out. This dog is constantly escaping outside. And when he's inside, he pees all over the place. And at some point, I think their previous owner, I don't think they abused him or anything. I think they probably just said, you know what? Let natural selection take its place.
Yeah.
Let him just wander, and we're not going to chase him. It's too cold.
Yeah.
So we're working on ways to keep Marbles contained in a pee. I've made an industrial strength wire thing, and I've ordered things from the interwebs to hammer in the area into our yard. I haven't gone as far as electric fence, but that's the next step.
Yeah.
And then if I have to, I'll go beyond that. I'll hire a sniper with a dart, tranquilizer dart.
Yeah, because you're not cruel.
No, but
Jesus.
there's got to be somebody.
Yeah.
I don't think it'd be too much to find somebody that's willing to be a sniper on our roof with a tranquilizer. There's probably some permitting that needs to happen. I might have to give the sheriff a call and say there's going to be a guy with a rifle on our roof.
PETA is going to be all over our ass.
PETA, I'll just explain to him.
My advice.
By the way,
what you need to do.
Yeah.
Does Marbles wear his leash when he goes outside?
Not every time.
Put the leash on him before you let him out.
I don't want to.
But if you have to chase him, then you can grab the leash. It's easier to grab a leash than to grab a dog.
Yeah.
Because when Figgy is out in the backyard, we leave him on his leash because that won't come back to you.
Yeah.
He doesn't listen to anything. So you have to grab the leash, and then he can't run away.
What I would like is a remote control
dog
thing on their collar.
A remote control dog.
That will inject them with whatever that is that tranquilizes them.
Uh-huh.
So if I see him going into another yard, I can just push the button, he'll just drop. And then somebody, I can send Charlie or Andrew out, go get Marbles, bring him back in. He'll come too.
Yeah.
I think that would work.
Yeah.
Another thing, you mentioned PETA, and this is another thing I talked about. I was going to tease last episode, and I didn't. The Hunger Games.
Hunger Games.
Yeah. Charlie has been begging us to watch the Hunger Games for years. We don't know why.
This was so weird that Charlie begs, and the weekend you watch it is the same weekend that Cameron wants to watch the first episode of the Hunger Games.
Really?
We watched it the same weekend.
Yeah.
I'm like,
really?
you're spot. Yes.
Wow.
We may have watched it the same night.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually liked it. I actually liked the series.
It's a really good movie.
So we're at there's like a half hour left in Mockingjay 1. They did the Harry Potter thing where they split the last book up. So there's like a half hour left. Charlie, for some reason, I think it's because it was getting late. He was like, let's watch this half hour some other time. We haven't gone back to it. The thing that really annoys me, I do enjoy it. The character, PETA. Call him Peter.
Yeah.
PETA.
But that's not his name.
But call him that.
Yeah. Call him Pedro, for God's sake.
I'm sitting here and we're watching the movie. Like I said, we're on Mockingjay 1. And I'm at the point now where anytime she yells, PETA, I'm like, it's Peter. You sound like Lois. Is it Lois from Family Guy?
Yes.
PETA! Hey, when'd you get that tattoo on your lower back?
I don't know, Peter. Meth is a hell of a drug.
What?
I can't. I just can't with the PETA thing. I go back and forth between it's Lois, and then I go over to she's talking about the people for the ethical treatment of
humans,
animals.
Yeah.
And I just can't just change that name.
Yeah.
At some point, an editor should have, was it Suzanne Collins wrote them?
Yeah.
I know that, but I don't know people I met today. I know her name.
Yeah.
I'll never meet her.
Yeah.
But the people I met, tons of people today, I'll never remember their name.
Yeah.
Somebody should have told her. Her editor should have said, it's a great story, but can it be Peter?
Yeah.
No, that's too easy to remember and sounds normal.
They named the chick Katniss. Okay, cool name, sorta.
Yeah.
It's better than PETA.
See, when I hear like that, it makes me wonder if they're just like picking, like if her name, she said she's just walking around, catnip, but I can't call it catnip because that's stupid.
Right.
So let's change the P to an S, and now it's Katniss.
Because that's not stupid.
That's not stupid. Peter is dumb and normal, and people will be like, oh, you can't call him Peter. We'll think of normal people. Let's call him PETA. Which is even worse because it's Peter with a stupid accent. For a long time, I could not take the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit seriously as a kid because I thought Bilbo, I still think Bilbo's a kind of stupid name.
It is.
It's a stupid name. But I like it now.
No
and
more
Frodo.
It's no stupider than Frodo.
Yeah, Frodo. It took me a long time.
But Merry and Pippin have cool names.
Yeah, it
sort
took
of.
me.
Well, no. If I went to school with a guy named Pippin, I'd kick his ass.
I'll tell you the
I'd put him in his locker.
I'll tell you the exact moment for me. Frodo quit being a stupid name.
When's that?
It's when Aragorn
For Frodo,
okay, and then rushes. I was like,
yeah.
you don't. He didn't say for PETA.
No, he didn't.
No,
For Katniss.
I would have walked out of the theater if he said for PETA or for Katniss. For PETA, and then run.
Peter
no.
Jackson, cut. PETA not in this movie, you dumbass.
It's time now for the Kroger Story of the Week.
Something I meant to talk about last weekend was I went to Kroger and I had some special ingredients that I needed to purchase for a meal that Libby was making.
Okay.
I needed artichoke hearts, slivered almonds, and sesame seeds.
The f- is an artichoke heart?
I don't know.
Okay.
I couldn't find them. And I told part of the story, but I left out the best part of the story. And I realized that after listening to last week's episode. So I'm looking for these artichoke hearts.
Yeah.
Okay. They weren't in the produce department. So I went to see if they were on the vegetable aisle. So I'm walking by and I see an employee who works at Kroger. And I ask her, I said, can you tell me where I can find artichoke hearts? She looks at me confused and she said, who?
Hey, what happened?
Oh, an artichoke hearts.
It's the question isn't who,
No.
but what?
Even how would have made more sense.
But
Who?
Who?
Yeah.
it's an artichoke hearts.
Yeah.
And so I got a kick out of that. That's how I found the artichoke hearts. While I was looking for the slivered almonds, the lady in the produce department was giving me because did you look where the mixed nuts are? I did.
Is that where they keep artichoke hearts?
No, the slivered almonds.
Oh, slivered almonds.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
So, yes, I did. And she goes, well, let's see if they're over here. So she went over, and then she did find where those were. Okay, so I found those.
Yeah.
Now I can't find the sesame seeds. I don't know.
I know where the sesame seeds are.
Okay.
Yeah.
Turns out they're on the very bottom shelf with all the spices.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know where they were.
Okay. Yeah. See, where you're thinking was
over
where
the nuts and
stuff.
I
know.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I couldn't find them there. So they're either sold out or they don't have them.
Okay.
So I'm on the spice aisle and I'm looking for these sesame seeds. This woman who's got the pinkest hair I've ever seen in my life. I don't think it was natural. I think she may have dyed it.
Okay.
I'm standing there, I'm looking, and this woman can just tell that I'm just completely lost. And she even asked me, she said, what are you looking for? I said, sesame seeds. She goes, oh, and then she starts looking at me.
Yeah.
She just puts her stuff away and starts helping me look. I'm like, you don't have to help me look. I'll find them. She goes, no, not a problem at all.
I got all day to look for sesame seeds.
And so Pinky, she helps me find them. They were on the bottom shelf.
Okay.
So I get all the ingredients that I need for this chicken meal. That was delicious, by the way. It was really, really good. I'll have to give you the recipe.
Was there a moment where you wanted to sing, can you tell me how to find
the sesame seeds?
Right there. Right there.
Yeah. That's good. Pretty clever.
Pretty
Clever.
good.
Clever.
I almost passed out. Yeah.
So I'm getting ready to leave Kroger, and I'm like, I've already found my Kroger story of the week, and I was good, and I stopped trying. I wasn't like talking to anybody or anything. I was just like, I've got everything I need out of this. I've got my food. I've got my story.
Yeah.
I'm got on my the cashier. Yeah, have you noticed that the cashier's like, Hi, I'm Bill, and this is Bobby. We'll be taking care of you today.
I normally go to the self-checkout. I don't like bagging my own groceries.
I still don't like self-checkout.
Yeah, I don't like bagging my own groceries, which is why I go to self-checkout. Okay.
Well,
I like if I'm going into the situation knowing I'm going to bag, I like that. But if I'm at the normal thing and then just nobody's coming by to bag them, that pisses me off.
Yeah. Well, on this day, there was a cashier and a bag boy.
Okay.
And he says, Hi, I'm Jimmy, and this is Bobby. We're taking care of you today. I was like, oh, okay. Did you find everything? I was like, I didn't want to say, well, I couldn't find artichoke hearts. I couldn't find the slivered almonds, and I couldn't find the sesame seeds.
Yeah.
So I lied, and I said, yeah, I did. I found everything just fine.
I lied to him.
I totally lied to him. Rings up everything. It all goes down the conveyor belt, and the dude bags them up.
Yeah.
And I got my receipt. I'm getting ready to leave. And he says, have a great day. I said, you too. The bag boy looks at me, and he said, Tom Brady retired.
Did you say, are you telling me this?
Out of nowhere.
You talking to me?
Yeah, out of nowhere. I'm not wearing a Tom Brady shirt.
No.
This has been the Kroger Story of the Week.
Damn, we need to wrap this thing up, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
Is there anything else you want to talk about real quick before we go?
I do. If you guys haven't seen it, I'm not going to talk about The Last of Us, but Pedro Pascal was on Saturday Night Live. If you haven't already seen it, the Mario Kart is one of the funniest things.
Mm-hmm.
It's a me.
It's a
Mario.
It's hysterical. I didn't know the guy had the potential to be funny. I had no idea. Something else we mentioned at the very top of the show, we did get an offer. The Cable Council in Dayton, Ohio, some people there have reached out to us, and they have asked if we wanted to air the video portion of this podcast on cable access in Dayton, Ohio, and we're considering doing it.
Yeah, we're considering doing it.
Yeah.
Our first reaction was absolutely not.
No way.
No! God, please, no! No!
But we've been thinking about it, and we're going to do it.
The con of doing that is this show is primarily an audio podcast.
Yeah.
You know, we treat it like a radio show. We have Dave Lay do the announcing at the top and the bottom, and he puts the commercials in through the middle of it. We add music. We add sound effects. We had,
hey, what happened?
Yeah.
You know, we do all that. And honest God, Fred Willard might as well get co-host credit of the show because he's in more episodes than you are.
And we do stream the live portion.
Yes.
I mean, we have some people watching it now. And we make that video available for our patrons. We take it down and make it available for the patrons. So we're coming up with a product that we can put on the cable that'll make sense. It'll be quacked, but it won't have the Dave Layisms.
Right.
But we're thinking about like Irritable Dad Syndrome raw.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, also when we do the audio portion of the podcast, you know, stumbling Dan over here who keeps, you know, screwing things up.
Yeah.
I can't even remember the word carrot. You know, I say the word over and over and over again and stuff like that. You know, we clean all that up.
Yeah.
So that's the apprehension for me.
Yeah, I think there's a way to make it work.
Yeah.
We talk about it off the air, but I think there's a way to make it work. So
all
right.
But yeah, we may be on the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you'll guess like, damn, I knew them win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you for listening, and we want you to like and subscribe and follow us.
Yeah.
On follow us on TikTok and follow us on the Instagram and the Twitter and
the Facebook.
And I know we keep asking, and the reason we keep asking is because you guys don't do it. We're begging you to leave a review.
So when you leave a review, it puts us on the whatchamajigger.
The thing.
It puts us on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It bumps us up in the search results. It helps us get seen by more people.
That's what it does.
It does.
When you leave a review, we're seen by more people.
We're seen by more people. More people can come in. And the bigger this community gets, the more fun it's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's just
I have had people say, Darin, how can I help you expand this podcast?
Right there.
Well, very good question, Leslie. And leave a review.
For some reason, leaving a review on Apple Podcasts is like a nitro fuel infused review.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
They really dig that.
Yeah.
So do that. Help us out.
If you could do that, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And if you want to listen to previous episodes, you can do that at irritabledadsyndrome.com.
All right.
So listen, we're going to go. We'll see you next week on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
If you have a question that you would like to read on the podcast, send it to our Facebook page. The guys will probably lose their mind seeing how we never get any mail. Thanks for listening. Hey guys, can we get that ice cream now?
I do want to talk about red-assed over it. I'm red-aced over it. I'm going to throw that. This is just going to throw it in.
A red what?
Red-assed. I'm red-aced. Well, but the guy says red-aced over it.
Okay. Who does?
The guy. I'll show you the video.
The what guy? You know, the guy who says the thing.
I'll show you
Red
the guy
eggs.
on the thing. I'll show you the video on the thing.
Okay.
It's a guy.
Okay.
It's a guy. He does a thing.
Breaking Bad is the best show you've ever seen, except maybe The Wire.
Breaking Bad is the best show I've ever seen, except maybe The Wire.
No, we don't eat our own supply.
Mr. White!
Jesse, everyone's gonna want to taste.
That's solid entertainment.